is the adventurer's dream. So when I had the opportunity to film a yacht that is doing exactly that, with the man that has turned his dream into a reality, I jumped at the chance to film it. After all, how difficult could it be to fly from Nice to Nuuk in Greenland and my cameraman to fly in from Copenhagen? Well, things don't always go according to plan, and as I was landing in Nuuk from Copenhagen yesterday, the pilot actually announced that the weather was quite bad, but that he thought we should be able to land. Not the most encouraging message I've ever heard on an aircraft. Regrettably though, our cameraman, who's on a different flight, was not so lucky, and his flight actually had to go back to Iceland, then back to Copenhagen, and so we're filming this yacht without a cameraman. The remote areas that true explorers go to often have inhospitable weather conditions. And so it was that, armed with some iPhones, a GoPro, and a local drone pilot, we set off from Nuuk Harbour, heading north towards the world's second largest fjord. Chris Lee Jones, the owner of Vanguard, was accompanied by his son, Reese, the highly experienced ice pilot Nick Weisfo, his partner Estella Pfaff, and Rene the drone pilot and myself. Like the Fellowship of the Ring, we ventured out to present you Vanguard. Nick had previously shown me the route that we would be taking on the plotter. Vanguard actually has 3 screens in the bridge, showing radar, plotter, engine parameters and onboard systems. The route would take us out of the port, past the old settlement where Nuuk used to lie, and on into the Nuuk fjord system to an island called Bjornø. That actually means Bear Island. The 2 things I noticed during this part of the trip were the very low noise from the engines and the extremely comfortable position and great visibility of the helm station. Chris explained to me that in the Med he would usually drive from the flybridge, but in the biting cold of the Arctic, an inside driving position was far preferable. And let me tell you, as beautiful as the day was, it was bitingly cold. Vanguard, on the other hand, was snug and warm inside, with her 2 Webasto heaters doing a fine job. With Greenland's mountains towering all around us, we made our way through the icebergs that headed our way, drifting with the current and the wind. These smaller icebergs are known locally as growlers. They're small enough to be pushed by the wind, but large enough to do considerable damage to a yacht if you hit them. Make no mistake, remote areas can also be dangerous, and when you're taking your 16-year-old son around the world with you, you really need to make sure that the yacht is safe. I actually met Chris just over a year ago in Antalya, Turkey, where the yacht was being built. I was filming the naval yachts facility that built Vanguard, and Chris took a very hands-on approach to ensuring that his yacht would be capable, robust, and above all, safe. Vanguard, this beautiful salmon orange explorer yacht that shall soon be leaving to cruise the world. The aluminium hull is far thicker than is usually required by her classification society. Remarkably, it is 2 inches thick at the bow, which also has a crumple zone behind which there is a watertight bulkhead, one of 4 on this 78-foot long yacht. Vanguard has a double bottom, something usually found on far larger vessels. And while we're on the subject, I can tell you that in the eventuality that she does hit the bottom, then 2 skegs protect the rudder gear. That also has crumple zones in case the skegs for some reason don't protect them. The deck hardware is all far bigger and far more robust than you would see on other yachts of this size. The anchor, and there are 2 of them by the way, is 110 kilogram, and the cleats that you see around the vessel are so strong that you could use them to lift the yacht out of the water if you really needed to. Try that on your average 78-foot production yacht. She was built with more scantlings and stringers than were required by her classification society, and a 1-inch thick stem runs all the way through the centre of the vessel. This yacht was built for one purpose and one purpose only: to safely and reliably explore the planet in comfort. And on the subject of comfort, I'm not going to give you my usual spiel about sumptuous interiors and unusual materials, because that's not what this yacht is all about. I mean, it's comfortable for sure. There are great spaces on board, but that's not the purpose of the yacht. The investment put into this yacht was about practicality over opulence. It was about a solid build quality and plenty of redundancy systems on top of rare marbles and gold faucets. When I stepped on board for the first time, I really felt that I was walking into somebody's home. This has effectively, in fact, been home for Chris for some time. The galley to port occupies almost half of the floor space on the main deck. 7 people have regularly been fed from this galley, eating in a place where you are surrounded by the beauty of your surroundings rather than Swarovski light fittings and Tai-Ping carpets. Below deck and forward, there is the VIP cabin. There's a skylight above the bed, a small desk, and a very nicely appointed ensuite. Further aft is the owner's stateroom, bigger than I expected if I'm quite honest, and again with a beautifully appointed ensuite. Chris also added an alarm panel here. Remember, this is an owner-operated vessel, so if there's anything that needs attention, he wants to be the first to know. Further aft and down a separate stairwell is the third cabin with bunk beds. The larger bunk is actually on the top, following the line of the hull. There's access to the engine room from here too, and this opens up a whole new topic that is so important to know about Vanguard. The green unit that you can see here is an electric motor produced by Praxis, a company that deals mostly with military craft and large commercial vessels like cruise liners. It's an expensive system, but it has some great advantages for the livability of the yacht. When Chris told me that the yacht has a hybrid power system, I had to ask him what he meant, since it can mean different things on different yachts. I was surprised to learn that Vanguard has no generators at all. The 2 John Deere 160 horsepower continuously rated engines double up as generators, charging a 120 kilowatt hour battery bank that supplies the hotel load on board. You can have a full complement of guests on Vanguard for an entire night in total silence. No generator noise at all, because there are no generators. Praxis produce a power management system that automatically handles the power requirements, and if you choose to use the battery bank for propulsion, you can reach about 7 knots. But Chris was keen to point out that the attraction of the system was that his, as he puts it, his power-hungry guests can use the washer, the dryer, the heater, everything they want without any consideration to consumption, and the vessel can handle it. There's always sufficient power on board. There's no real need to use shore power because you can use the batteries. Back to that amazing scenery though. I'd asked Chris if I could produce a separate video in which we discuss his experience as owner-operator of an Explorer yacht. He agreed and he said, I want to show something that this yacht can do that other yachts can't. And with that, he launched the tender, invited me to join him, and we headed off to find an essential prop for our interview. 100,000-year-old ice.
感谢观看，也感谢大卫带来的精彩视频。你看完视频，我给你打折优惠。第一，这艘船可以打折到2500万人民币。第二，可以以原版净设计方案，在我的国内船厂授权建造，让潜在船东享受国内更具有竞争力的价格。如果你有兴趣，还请联系我们。